Fellow patriots, I need your full attention for the next few minutes. Representative Ilhan Omar just stood on the House floor and delivered a speech. And let me tell you, it was one of the most dangerous and misguided pieces of rhetoric we've heard in a long time. She's calling for the United States, yes, America, to disarm our nuclear arsenal and surrender our strategic advantage in a world full of hostile actors. China is building nukes at record speed. North Korea is testing ballistic missiles weekly. Iran wants to wipe Israel off the map. And what does Omar suggest? That we disarm, that we step back, that we rely on mutual goodwill and treaties signed by nations who, frankly, cannot be trusted. Well, let me break it down for you, piece by piece. And then I'll tell you why this kind of thinking isn't just foolish, it's dangerous.
Mr. Speaker, I yield to the gentlewoman from Minnesota, Ms. Omar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to once again call on the United States to join the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, and for all of the world's nuclear-armed powers to adopt policies of mutual disarmament and abolition. In a few short weeks, we will mark the 80th anniversary of the only time nuclear weapons have been used in combat by the United States in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan. The fact is, in 80 years since, we have only avoided nuclear war by sheer luck. As long as countries possess massive arsenals of world-destroying weapons, the risk of miscalculation and the risk of escalation is eternal. In the last few years, we have seen multiple situations that remind us of the extent of the fragility and of the danger. Nuclear-armed India exchanged fire with nuclear-armed Pakistan just this year. Cooler heads prevailed this time. Nuclear-armed Israel conducted unilateral strikes on facilities in Iran. That war didn't go nuclear this time. Nuclear-armed Russia continues its brutal war of conquest in Ukraine. We are avoiding escalations that increase the threats of nuclear threat war between Russia and the West so far.
So, let's start with the basics. Omar opened by calling for the U.S. to join the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, a treaty that over 50 countries have signed, none of which are actual nuclear powers. It's like inviting a group of people without guns to lecture cops about how to disarm during a riot. She then referenced the 80th anniversary of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And you know what? We should remember that history, but we must also remember why it happened. It ended World War II. It saved countless American lives by avoiding a bloody invasion of Japan. That decision was brutal, yes, but it was made in the name of victory and survival. Something Omar never seems to grasp. She goes on to talk about the luck of avoiding nuclear war for 80 years. But what she won't say is why we've avoided it. It's called deterrence. The fact that America has the strength to strike back is what keeps rogue nations in check. Weakness invites aggression, always has, always will. And then here's where it gets insane. She claims nuclear weapons have already been used thousands of times because of tests, and says their primary victims have been Americans. Really? Not the people North Korea threatens weekly? Not the Israelis who live under the shadow of an Iranian bomb? No, Omar makes it about America poisoning itself. She paints us as the villain. Again, she talks about downwinders, the communities exposed to radiation during weapons testing. Yes, there's truth there. These people deserve transparency and support. But to use their suffering as a weapon to dismantle our national security? That's manipulative. That's political theater. And of course she thanks Representative McGovern, another liberal who's never met a disarmament policy he didn't love.
The truth is, the era of nuclear weapons will only end in one of two ways. Either we will abolish these horrific weapons from the face of the earth, or we will use them and abolish humanity instead. The only sane position, the only legitimate position for anyone who values human life is abolition. And more than half the countries in the world have now formally agreed signing on to the TPNW. We should join them. Because just as we have gotten terrifyingly close to nuclear war in these past 80 years, we have gotten close to disarmament. It is not a pipe dream. Reagan, Gorbachev also did it. South Africa unilaterally dismantled their arsenal. Other countries have stopped developing nuclear weapons before they got the bomb. It is possible to disarm. It is possible to abolish nuclear weapons. We only need the political will, and we need the urgency. Finally, Mr. Speaker, you will note that I said the bomb dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki were the only nuclear weapons used in combat. But they were not. We must be absolutely clear the only times nuclear weapons have been used. In fact, nuclear weapons have been used thousands of times, and their primary targets have been Americans. We also mark this month the 80th anniversary of the Trinity test in New Mexico. And so we should remember that entire communities have been poisoned by these weapons right here in the United States. Entire generations have seen their families, their friends, their classmates dying of rare cancers caused by the radiation exposure. They have been forced to drink poisoned water and breathe poisoned air. The effect of the communities known as the downwinders have been catastrophic, and their suffering is still, sadly, mostly unknown in this country. We have made some small steps towards providing overdue compensation to these Americans, the first and the most consistent victims of our nuclear weapons program. But we still have a long way from justice. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank Mr. McGovern for hosting this special hour tonight and for his years of principled leadership on this issue, and I yield back.
Let me say this loud and clear. America didn't become the most powerful nation on earth by bowing to utopian fantasies. We did it through strength, resilience, and a willingness to stand our ground when others ran. The world is on fire, right? Now, Ukraine, Taiwan, the Middle East, and Omar wants us to throw water on our own firepower? We don't need disarmament. We need strength. We need deterrence. We need America First policies that protect our people and preserve our freedom. So here's the message to Representative Omar. If you want to lecture someone about nuclear weapons, take it to Tehran, take it to Pyongyang, take it to Beijing. But don't. You dare ask America to put down its shield while our enemies sharpen their swords? Drop a comment below. Should the U.S. ever disarm our nuclear arsenal? Like, share, and subscribe if you believe in peace through strength. Stay strong, stay free, and stay proud to be American. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America.